Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newly relaunched Run Level 0. Sorry to be gone from you for so long. Been away on a forced hiatus. Folks, thank you for sticking with me. Apologize for the absence, but it had to be done. If you've left me messages or posted comments and I haven't gotten back to you, sorry again. I had to turn off my notifications for a while. But I'm back and I am eager to get started with you again. Alright, today we are taking a look at MakuluLinux Cinnamon 8. Saw this come out. It's not a brand new release, but it isn't too old. And I began playing around with this, folks. I've really been impressed with this. Well, if you followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I've always loved Makulu. Jacques does a phenomenal job with his releases, and always has since the very beginning. I've really been pleased with this Cinnamon edition, and we're going to take a look at some of the release notes on it, and then we'll go over and take a look at the system itself. So, MakuluLinux is proud to offer the very first x64 edition, and I'm really happy with that. In previous reviews, I've received comments that people have been, kind of frowning upon the fact that it was only offered as a 32-bit OS. So here you go, folks. Very first 64-bit edition. So what does it have with it? It is based on Debian testing. So you get this semi-rolling release of Debian. You get kernel 3.16 x64. Based on Cinnamon, or includes Cinnamon 2.2.16. It is made with Makula Constructor, and we'll take a look at what that is in just a little bit. Lots of nice themes and wallpapers included, and it's always Jacques. He does a wonderful job making a beautiful system, just very visually appealing. Let's see, compatible with 32 and 64-bit architecture out of the box, built-in live streaming capabilities, dual menus, built-in firewall and antivirus, EFI secure boot compatible. So the Makula Constructor, and we're going to fire it up here in just a couple of minutes, but what it is, basically, if you watched my video before on Remaster Sys, how you're able to take your operating system, the one that you have tweaked, the one that you're using daily, and make a installable live CD version of your current operating system. That's what Makula Constructor does. Only it does it, in my opinion, a bit easier than the Remaster Sys did. It's actually the utility that Jacques uses to make the current distributions, which I thought was pretty neat. He uses his own tools. So yeah, you can basically take the Makulu installation, tweak it however you want it, and then repackage it. So the Makula Constructor is a powerful utility. Let's see. Software, it still has an excellent base software, as you will see, but one of the big things that I like, streaming in MakuluLinux. Netflix and Popcorn Time are both now fully supported in this edition. Users can easily install Popcorn Time straight from the Software Manager or Synaptic Manager with one click of a button. No other configuration is needed. Also, Netflix is now fully integrated and functional on Google Chrome. So if you like streaming media to your computer or using your computer as a home entertainment system, MakuluLinux is already set up to do it. And that's been one of the things that users, especially new users, have had issues with, is getting the Netflix running on their Linux system. So Jacques has already done that for you. So enough of the release notes. Let's take a pause for just a moment. I'll fire up the system, and we'll take a look at it. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, MakuluLinux Cinnamon 8. So what do you get with this release? Well, you get, in a nutshell, what is, in my opinion, the best MakuluLinux has to offer. The best release to date. Jacques has always really impressed me, especially when you consider this is a one-man shop. Jacques, if you see this, good on you, man. This is an awesome operating system. So you have a traditional desktop layout, and that's one of the things I really like about the Cinnamon desktop. Back at, when it was still based on GNOME 3, Cinnamon was a little heavy. But since they forked and really become their own standalone desktop environment, it's really responsive, really fast, really competitive with all the other desktops. It's a modern desktop. It has lots of features, as you're going to see. Yeah, I really like Cinnamon. One of the things I like about it is that it is in a traditional desktop layout, meaning that for a newer user coming over from Windows, it's going to feel somewhat familiar. It's not going to be like Unity or GNOME 3 that's going to be so totally foreign that there'll be a large learning curve. Stuff is going to be laid out pretty much like it is in the other operating system. So you get one primary desktop, shortcut to your home folder and to the trash bin. On the desktop, the calendar and clock, as well as these quotes, are brought to you courtesy of the Variety Wallpaper Changer, which we're going to get into in just a few minutes. In the lower left-hand corner, you have your primary menu, and when we launch it, looks like it's the Linux Mint menu. Now, when I was looking at this, installing it, it is based on Debian testing, but I think that the base system that he used for constructing this is Solid K, which I love that as well. Solid K is an awesome OS in its own right, but I think that it was a wise choice here, using something as stable and solid as Solid K as the base for MakuluLinux Cinnamon. I think that was a wise choice. So what do we have installed here? Let's take a look. Accessories, of course, we have an archive manager. ClamTK is installed, which ClamTK, if you're new to Linux, is the de facto Linux antivirus client. Now, it's true that Linux is, I will not say virus proof because it is not, but it is highly resistant to viruses by its nature. But in my opinion, Linux users tend to take that too far. We tend to rely on Linux's innate resistance to viruses to dismiss viruses altogether. When the reality is that as more and more users begin using Linux, especially with Android on the scene, I believe that we're going to begin seeing more and more Linux viruses in the wild. And also, many of us, most of us, either work in a Windows environment or have family and friends that use Windows. You're emailing stuff to them back and forth. Do them a favor. Don't become the medium by which a virus is proliferated across a network or through a circle of family and friends. Scan the stuff that you send them before you send it out, okay? Just as a courtesy. One thing I do like that Jacques did, let me fire up the file browser here. The browser that's used, I believe, is Nemo. Yes, Nemo. And on the ClamTK website, there is an optional plugin that you can download for Nemo that really integrates. And what you get is a right-click utility now that you can scan for viruses. So you can scan a whole folder or an individual file really easily just with a context menu integration. So I really like that Jacques included that in MakuluLinux. Alright, enough about that. Let's see, files we just looked at, that is Nemo. Furious ISO mount, so that you can mount ISOs and work directly with disk images. LeafPad is a text editor, which I like LeafPad, it's a great editor. Screenshot utility. Synapse, which we'll look at in just a couple of minutes. Here's that Variety Wallpaper Changer here. You can point it to different locations where you want to draw your wallpapers from. This one is reading from the hard drive. But you can also pull wallpapers from the internet. You can set the frequency at which the wallpaper changes, set different effects. You can even, somewhere in here, let's see, download limit, effects, there you go. Show random wise quotes, show the big clock, So if you don't want to see the quotes, sorry, you can just untick it here. If you want to turn off the clock, you can untick it there, and they go away. You know. So there you go. All right, getting back to it. I believe that was really all for the accessories menu. Under games, for local gaming, you have Solitaire, Mahjong, and Sudoku installed. And for online gaming, Play on Linux and Steam are installed. So that's very handy. I've really been enjoying Steam on Linux. It's fun. For graphics, we have Document Viewer, which will be for looking at your PDFs, an Image Viewer, Image Magic, MyPaint, and Penta. So you have all the bases covered there. For Internet, Chromium is the web browser of choice. You have a Dropbox client installed for you. Mozilla Thunderbird for your email client. There's that Netflix that we talked about, already installed and configured for you. You can't get any better than that. Pigeon Internet Messenger, Skype is installed for you, and again Steam. For your Office Suite, you get the WPS Office Suite, which if you followed Makulu for any length of time, it was formerly Kingsoft. It's the same Office Suite. They just went through some changes. So you get the same awesome integration, fully compatible with Microsoft Office. I haven't had any issues with it. I use Office every day, and WPS has worked excellent for me. For other, you have Wine and Wine Tricks installed. Sound and Video. Audacious is your music client. Brasero for optical media. Minitube is a standalone YouTube client. You have your volume control. Radio Tray for streaming online radio stations. I prefer Radio Tray, actually. That's my favorite internet radio client. Let's see, Audio Mixer, VLC Media Player, and Voco Screen is installed for screencasting. Under Preferences, you have your standard Cinnamon system preferences. You can install applets, desklets if you want to. Let's see, the Device Driver Manager. Now this is the one hit that I have for this system. There we go. And as you saw there was a user account control for the prompting for elevated privileges. I'm sorry, I had a little mind blank there. Yeah, it was very similar to the Windows user account control where it blanked out the screen, prompted you for the root password or your sudo password. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. Hardware scan, DDM did not find any supported hardware. The Device Driver Manager will help you install your proprietary drivers or any extra hardware drivers. The one issue that I had with it, it did not detect my basic Intel video card. When I had it installed on my system and was using it daily, I was not able to get 3D support. So my Steam games did not work very well, and I wound up switching. So that's the one knock that I can give this, was driver support. But then again, it's Debian. It's dedicated to free hardware, free software. Could I research it? Could I install the drivers on my own? Absolutely. It wouldn't be too much bother, but it was more bother than I was willing to go through at the time, honestly. That's just the honest answer. All right. Displays. This is just your typical Cinnamon menu. You have your hot corner control, your preferences here. Let's see. Network controls, panel controls, power management, your software and updates, system settings, themes. So yeah, the basics are covered. As far as theming goes, Makulu, as always, has just been a phenomenal, beautiful system right out of the box. But it's the only knock that I've heard people give Makulu is it's maybe a bit too whimsical. Well, what Jacques has done from the very beginning up to now is made it highly customizable. Yeah, there is a touch of whimsy on the screen and the icons, but you can change it. He has enough installed that you can change it easily. He's even gone through and made some superb custom themes here, so you can just change your system at the just with a simple click of the mouse. I mean, it's really easy to go through and change your system. The wallpapers that he has installed. Let's see. Go to background. I don't know where you find these things, Jacques. He just has some of the most beautiful default backgrounds that I've seen on any system, bar none. And I mean, there's just a ton of them. So yeah, you can make the system look like whatever you want it to look like. So if the default setup is not your cup of tea, change it. All right, enough said. All right, getting back, let's take a look at the administration menu. BleachBit is installed. Thank you so much. I am a big supporter of using something like BleachBit to keep your system clean. Especially if you do online business, banking, shopping, folks, if the files are not left on your system, then there's nothing for someone to steal. Okay, so just clean up behind yourself. Make sure your system is secure. There's a boot repair client, boot info client. Gparted is installed, so you can handle your thumb drives and repartition them, wipe them however you want to. There's a Grub Customizer, like DM Manager, that's your login screen. There is the Makula Constructor we were talking about. Let's take a peek at that. This tool is designed to make a one-to-one clone of your system. There's also a full kit available to build a Debian distro from scratch. That's just awesome, folks. Debian has been missing a utility like this for a while. But we're not going to run it. We're not going to go through it all together. So basically what you do, this is a base, and it cleans up after itself. That's pretty cool too. But this is a base install of MakuluLinux Cinnamon 8. So you install it, you tweak it however you want it, you change it to look whatever you want to. If you don't like, say, Chrome, you want Firefox, you can uninstall Chrome, install Firefox, and you run Makula Constructor, and it will repackage your whole system and make a live CD that's installable for you. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. It's great. Let's see, you have your software manager as well as Synaptic. So software manager is what you're going to use for just average everyday software management, especially if you're a new user coming over. Your software manager is a nice, advanced, user-friendly software management client. So it's going to take it just a moment. It has to sync the repositories. But what I mean by being an advanced client, you have categories where you go into, say, Internet, and then you have subcategories where you can go into, say, your email clients. So it makes finding the software you're looking for much easier and user-friendly. Now, if you want a little more control over the system, you're a more advanced user, you can use Synaptic Package Manager, okay, which is definitely a more advanced tool. Let's see, we have a system monitor here. Let's fire that up. Our resources right now is running at 731 meg. So it's not too bad. As is my tradition, I forgot to mention up front, this is running in a virtual box, has two dedicated processors and 2 gigs of RAM. And as you can see, it's running fairly well. It's snappy, very little, if any, lag. So you have UNet booting, so when you do use Makula Constructor to build your own ISO, you can use UNet booting to burn it to a thumb drive, make a bootable thumb drive. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's it for your primary menu and the installed software. My overall impression of the installed software, I really like it. All the bases are covered, but there's no bloat. There's no redundancy there. So Jacques has made an effort to go through and pick what he feels are the best applications to cover an average user's daily needs. And I think he did a very good job of it. Alright, so moving on back down to the panel, Let's see, we have a Show Desktop button. We have an Update Repository Cache, so with one click you can update your repositories. There's a shortcut to the Software Manager, your terminal, the Chromium web browser, and your File Manager. Of course, anything that's open will be displayed in the central portion of the panel. Moving over to the right side, you have your notification area, all windows, which will tile all windows. You have an RSS reader with the MakuluLinux feed loaded for you. You have your battery monitor. Let's see, this is your network manager, volume control, calendar and clock, an update notification area, so you can just, if you need, like it's showing down here, the little shield with the eye on there, that means you have updates waiting, so you can just click in here and take care of the updates. There's a shortcut to the Variety Wallpaper Changer again, and if you don't like this wallpaper, you just want to toggle it, you can just click on it, click next, and it'll launch the next wallpaper for you. So it can't get any easier than that. Let's see, you can toggle a history, wallpaper selector, your preferences, everything is right in here, so that's pretty cool. And in the lower right hand corner you have your secondary menu, which in this edition is Synapse. Synapse is a pretty neat system to use because you just start typing and it auto-completes for you. So you search applications, documents, places. So it's a good way to just search your entire system. So it's not just applications that you're looking for, but it's anything on your system. Synapse is a pretty powerful utility. So I like that he included that in there. Altogether, I really like Cinnamon desktop in general, but MakuluLinux Cinnamon 8, its implementation of Cinnamon, is one of the better ones I've seen. Jacques really has, he puts a lot of thought into his distributions, and he's really outdone himself with this one. He's also working on a Unity edition, which I can't wait to put my hands on. It should be released here. This is April 3rd. I just saw on his website that he is planning to release the final version on April 5th, so Easter Sunday. So be sure to get out there and give that a look. But let me know what you think. Try out MakuluLinux Cinnamon 8. Like I said, the only problem that I had with it was the driver support for my video card. Other than that, it's just a phenomenal system. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Leave your questions, comments, and emotional outbursts in the area below, but in the comments below. But as always, folks, please keep it respectful. Run Level 0 is a user-friendly location, and I want to keep it friendly, especially to new users. So if you are a new user, please don't be afraid to ask any question on here. We're here to help learn and grow together. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to be back with you soon for another video.